guys. Okay, so I wanted to share a little bit of information with you in regards to estrogen dominance. And I really have found that, especially with many of the clients that I have interaction with, that this is really more common than I think I've realized in the beginning. And shockingly, so many of us women don't really have an idea of what the words even mean, estrogen dominance. So I just wanted to share a little bit of information with you to kind of help you understand that a little bit more and give you some tips on how to help to reverse that. So when our bodies drop in their progesterone levels, then estrogen typically takes over, usually becomes too high. You want that ratio between estrogen and progesterone to be more balanced, and not that they should always be at the same level. They're going to fluctuate throughout your month because that is what creates a menstrual cycle for us. And so sometimes you need your progesterone to be high, and sometimes you need it to be low. And your estrogen will fluctuate in tandem with that, right? The problem is that for so many of us, our progesterone is chronically low. And that happens for a few reasons. Lifestyle choices, stress, poor food, poor nutrition, not absorbing the nutrition that we may be eating because we've got some gut issues. Those are all factors, but becoming too estrogen dominant is also a factor, meaning there are ways that your estrogen can become too elevated. And one of those, well, not one, but several of those ways is by allowing what are called xenoestrogens to take up too much presence in your body. Xenoestrogens are chemicals that mimic the estrogen hormone, meaning they have a similar shape and a similar, really what your body looks at is similar shape. It doesn't really act exactly like an estrogen. And so before I explain a little bit more about that, I really want to share how important it is for you to not elevate exogenously, meaning like through exterior components, certain hormones, and your estrogen is one of them. Your body, hopefully, has the right amount of estrogen in it, right? Now, given that you're not going through menopause and something like that. But when we don't eliminate certain broken down, I'm just using like really vague terms here because I just want to keep it simple, but like broken down, damaged cells, right? Which is part of what makes up your stools. Those damaged cells are not used anymore. Estrogen is one of them, right? So as your body kind of does what it needs to and doesn't need it anymore and it's not functional, maybe it's missing a molecule or, right? It wraps it up, sends it through your intestinal tract, and it makes it all the way down to the colon. If you are not pooping on a regular basis, and I'm talking not every couple of days, that's not normal. I'm talking ideally 1 to 3 times a day, okay? If you're not eliminating those, then they eventually become unbound in your colon and your body reabsorbs them. Big problem. And that's one of the ways that your body's estrogen levels can possibly become too elevated, imbalanced, right? Also, there are ways externally that jack with that balance. Plastics, the utilization of plastics, drinking from plastics, storing your food in plastics, the chemicals that come out of, and hopefully you're not heating your food in plastic. That just makes my soul hurt. Those chemicals that are in BPA, even if it says it's BPA free, there are still chemicals that will leach into your food or your drink and act as xenoestrogens, meaning they have the same shape as an estrogen hormone. And what happens, so if you've got like a receptor, I'm trying to think of like something on your ovaries, right? You have a receptor that needs an estrogen. It's got like a little piece out here that is shaped a specific way, that only estrogen is shaped. And it waits for that little estrogen molecule to come in and fit right into that little compartment. You have some type of chemical that is shaped the same as an estrogen molecule or a hormone, the xenoestrogen, then it takes up that space. And then you have this extra estrogen floating around that doesn't have a job, and that's a problem. So it's incredibly important to make sure that we are not increasing our estrogen load with these exterior things like plastics and other toxic chemicals, candles, different chemicals that are in our personal care products. I could go on and on, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys. Just know that there are lots of ways that we can mitigate how much exposure we have to those external factors. And we really need to do a good job at mitigating those, because it's incredibly important to make sure that we're not raising our estrogen levels so high that our progesterone levels are like stifled. We also need to make sure that we are doing the things that we need to do to make sure that we support adequate progesterone production. And there are lots of ways to do that. The biggest one that tends to affect us most, that we can do the most impact with, is how we eat, what we choose to eat, the quality of what we eat, and how much sleep we get, and how much stress that we kind of take on, and how we manage our stress. And those are all things that we need to, I think, not just to make us overall healthy, I have to sneeze, but that we really need to pay attention to for optimal female health as well. So I wanted to share that with you to help you understand. I know a lot of you who know me well know how crazy I am when it comes to plastics in general, or like cooking with non-stick pans. All of these chemical exposures, I'm a little bit crazy with, and this is one of the reasons why. So hopefully this makes a little bit more sense to you, and you understand it's not just something else to focus on. There is real, legitimate, healthy reasoning behind it, okay? And so hopefully you found this helpful, and if you have questions in regards to this, feel free to reach out and ask at any time. And do yourself and your friends a favor. If you found this helpful, share this video with them and give me a like so that I know that this is the kind of information that you would like to hear more about, okay? You guys have an amazing day. See you later. Bye, guys.